Welcome to Evil Dead Week on Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Evil Dead 2. You can kiss your nerves goodbye.
Directed by Sam Raimi, starring Bruce Campbell, Sarah Berry, Kassie Wesley, Dan Hicks, and Ted Raimi as Henrietta, Evil Dead 2 takes place roughly where the first one left off. Ash is still in the cabin, and now he has to fight his own inner demons, so to speak, as well as figurative demons, and he's joined by a few other strangers that come to the cabin with a little more insight on what the Book of the Dead is all about. So what do we like?
I think the humor in this one is what sets the tone of this film. I found the slapstick of Ash fighting his inner demon and physical demons was very entertaining, which is really good because this film separates itself from the first one with this slapstick humor.
Yeah, this one definitely is not as serious as the first movie, and it really sets up Ash as a character, because now we've got the one-liners, like the groovy.
His character in The Evil Dead was like the shy, reserved, didn't really know how to take charge of the situation. In Evil Dead 2, right off the bat, when he's in there with Linda, you can tell he's cocky, conceited. He's a man's man.
Yeah, in playing with the comedy, like John said, fighting his inner demons, we have one of the best sequences in the Evil Dead series, which is Ash fighting his own hand, and essentially his hand kicking the shit out of him for a bit. And it's just brilliant, the way that Bruce actually controls himself. Like, it looks like Ash is knocked out the entire time. Well, his hand is just fucking smashing him with plates and dragging him across the floor. You know, this is one of the best sequences in the series.
Bruce Campbell got into this character. His facial expressions are always changing, and it fits to the mood, and he did a great job delivering this type of expression.
I also like that we had like almost tribute to the first movie, like a scene with the trees, not a tree rape this time, but you know, we have moving trees grabbing a girl with vines and stuff. So it's kind of neat. And we get Ash with a chainsaw arm. That's fucking awesome.
And he has his boomstick, double barrel.
He's upgraded. He's definitely upgraded. It's such an inventive way to handle this character. Even putting the starter on his chest so he can rev up the chainsaw by himself. Glorious. I like Ted Raimi as Henrietta. He was fucking creepy, crazy, and just over the top. It's definitely a little bit less scary than the first one. And the stop motion that they use is just straight out of like Jason and the Argonauts, and it's just ridiculous. But it is well done and looks cool, if not like shitty because of the time period.
And the production value, again, was great. This time we had a lot more miniature sets. They did a few more different special effects than what they had in the first one. In this one, they still kept true with the practical effects. The makeup looked great. And like Jay said, there was more stop motion. And that just adds to that like cheesy feel and slapstick humor.
Now let's move on to our dislikes. My biggest dislike is that the story kind of drags towards the middle. I mean, there is always a lot of things going on, but Ash by himself without dialogue for a while, it gets a little draining.
For me, the disappointment is within the cinematography. In the first film, we had amazing cinematography. We had different shot types, techniques that furthered the story and helped us get into the atmosphere. In this one, we didn't have it. It just felt empty for me. And the motivation and the character development and how the story progressed, like we're getting Ash's character more of a character development for how he's delivering his lines instead of Sam Raimi using shot types to guide the character through.
And I'd like to say, and I know people are gonna hate on me for this one, I wasn't a big fan of Dan Hicks' character being like the hillbilly. I didn't think his character really worked. He didn't need to exist really. I don't know, I just didn't like him as a character. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
Evil Dead 2 is a really fun film to sit down and watch with your friends. It's entertaining, the slapstick is hilarious, and Bruce Campbell as Ash is the iconic character that everyone knows and loves. And this is a film that establishes him as that character. The practical effects were awesome. The story itself was very entertaining. The problem I have with this is the charm from the first one just wasn't there with the cinematography. Without that, it just didn't hit home for me as a perfect film. Still a great movie, and knowing where this film has taken us today, it really is a staple to the horror genre and the iconic character that is Ash. So that being said, I'm gonna give this film 4 frog splashes out of 5.
Evil Dead 2 is a really fun film. This is where we get Ash Williams, the man with a chainsaw for an arm and a boomstick. This is the Bruce Campbell that everybody loves today, and this is where he went from shy guy to a groovy guy. I really loved the comedy and the humor in this one, but I did feel that the story lacked. We didn't have the same character development as we did in the first, and we didn't have those tense moments, and I understand that this is a satire on its own film, so I get the meta humor here, but I did think that it was missing something. But it's still a really good film, and you know, everybody knows that. So I don't know why we're reviewing it. So in any case, I'm gonna give this 3.5 possessed deer trophies out of 5. As always, thank you for watching, like this video, and let me know your comments on The Evil Dead in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our reactions, reviews, and games of What Would You Do?